Party leader Nancy Pelosi today opening the door to putting Democrats on that special panel tasked with investigating Benghazi, saying if it's to be done fairly, the members should be equally divided between both parties. Republican Congressman James Lankford from Oklahoma is on the House Oversight Committee and has been involved in the Benghazi hearings from the very start, and he's my guest. Great to see you, Congressman. So let me start off with that
Good
question.
to see you as well.
What do you make of the fact that Nancy Pelosi kind of changing her tune? Just the other day, she seemed to be mimicking Benghazi, let's get over it. And now she's saying maybe Democrats should be in equal numbers.
She actually is saying that, sure, I'd be glad to be able to put Democrats on it as long as we have the same number of Democrats as our Republicans, which she knows full well the plan for that would be to block every type of the investigation. If it's going to be a vote every time to subpoena, to move, she'll just try to block it, which is interesting. She's saying as long as it's fair and there's an equal number between both. Now, she actually put together a select committee as well dealing with climate change while she was in the chair as Speaker of the House, and it was not an equal number. So it's interesting. When she was actually putting together the select committee, she didn't think it should be an equal number. Now she thinks it should be an equal number. Of course it should not. This is not to try to stonewall the investigation. We've got to move this forward.
But let me ask you this. Let me play devil's advocate for a moment, because in these press briefings over the last few days, Jay Carney seems to be sticking to these same talking points, that it's the Republicans who have this conspiracy theory about Benghazi, and they are really good at investigating investigations. So could it be, if you had Democrats on this committee, that would at least bring credibility to the committee in the eyes of the White House?
No, I'm glad to be able to have Republicans and Democrats. Facts are facts. There's not Republican facts and Democrat facts. They're just facts. So if we're bringing the facts out and getting a chance to walk through this investigation, determine what happened, how we can prevent this from happening again, there should be Republicans and Democrats there, because it shouldn't be a partisan issue. But if the goal is to try to block an investigation, then that's not a worthy goal. We've had plenty of stalling and delaying over the last 2 years. We need to get this resolved.
What do you make of some people, pundits out there, who say, Republicans should be careful about this committee? Maybe it could backfire if there is no bombshell evidence. How do you respond to that?
Well, okay, let's just walk through some of the basics that we know at this point. We know 4 Americans were killed. We know that no one has yet been arrested or picked up or held to justice for this. We know that there was initially a report that this was a video, that the White House ran with that for a long time, when it was known, not within 24 hours, as you just had the previous conversation, it was known within hours, a very few hours. We just had General Lovell that was on the stand last week, confirmed with them again that night they knew it was not a video attack. We also know that there was not coordination happening between the State Department and Department of Defense. We've got to be able to resolve that. We had personnel that was in a facility that didn't meet the minimum standards for our facility, and we didn't have the minimum amount of security there. There were a lot of mistakes made here. It's reasonable for us to be able to resolve this.
A lot of unanswered questions. All right, let's move on to another scandal that rocked this nation, and that was the IRS targeting of Tea Parties. So now Lois Lerner going to be held in contempt, and Democrats like Steny Hoyer are saying this contempt effort is all about political messaging. Are they right?
No, they're not right. Again, whether you're conservative or whether you're liberal progressive, it shouldn't matter what the IRS has an opinion about you. The IRS is a tax collection agency. They should be neutral to every single American, regardless of religious or political preferences here. We have a situation where it's very obvious that the IRS was engaged in trying to limit speech of Americans based on their political perspectives. That is something that should actually be confronted. People should be held to account for that.
So what is the end game in terms of going after Lerner then? Can you really force her to talk?
Well, we're going to actually bring her up. We've actually subpoenaed her. We're going to hold her in contempt. We want the information. We've gone to the IRS, and we requested all emails that she had and the interaction with other employees. We've also done that same thing to Eric Holder. It was obvious the Department of Justice was also engaging with IRS, and they were also looking for ways to be able to engage in the same investigation. So we've got IRS to look at, we've got Department of Justice to look at, and all these things circle around Lois Lerner's office that she led. So we're gathering information. We're going to put all that in front of her.
All right. Always great to see you, Congressman. Thanks for your thoughts.
Good to see you as well.
So the White House